All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we are live. We're in full effect. It's 8:30 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we got none other than the legendary multi-platinum recording artist. We got Mr. Freejack right here, right now. How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm blessed, man. You know, working, getting these projects together, making it happen. What's happening, man? The
Not
honor,
much, man. I gotta say
man.
that project, man. I got that on the question list tonight, but I want to say it's shaping up to be a dope project, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, the project gonna be dope due to the production, the producer who did the whole project. That's what's gonna make it real unique. Cause usually when I do my albums, I focus on the music and everything myself. I had a lot of help on this album, so this album gonna be lit.
And I gotta ask you, Freejack, like, what made you decide to get into the music industry initially?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. I was brought into the music industry. You feel me? My pops was brought up. He used to sing with the Whispers, the Dales, and a lot of people. So I was brought up in the music industry. So it was kind of embedded into me when I was young. So I kind of grew up on like the old breakdancing movies and all that stuff. I did a lot of shit in the industry more than just rapping because I was a breakdancer, I was a DJ, and then I was a rapper. So it's more than just, I don't think we got enough time to tell my story, man.
I'm gonna be honest. When I was doing my research for this interview, I was thinking the same thing. I was telling your manager, Big Raw, that I have a good set list of questions set
Right.
up, but I was like, damn, I don't know if we have 3-4 hours to talk about everything.
And we're going to get as much as we can get out as possible. You know what I mean? That's why I said it's an honor to be on here. So, I'm open for whatever. They can call in, ask questions. I mean, my story is big, man. I didn't get it all, you feel me? So it's now it's time to showcase a lot of my hidden talent that I have sitting back.
And when you said you were actually in some breakdancing movies, I have to ask you, what was it like actually being in those breakdancing movies? And of course, like, you know what I mean? What movies were you actually a part of?
No, I wasn't actually in them. I was brought up on them. I watched all of them. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
okay, my
I
apologies.
studied off of them. That's what got me in the music industry by watching breakdancing movies.
And also, speaking of the music industry, man, you actually had the opportunity to work with the legendary Quincy Jones. I have to ask you, what was it like working with him? And how did you get connected with Quincy?
Well, it was dope because I got that hookup came through Layla Steinberg and Agent Gregory, my godfather and my management team. Actually, it wasn't Quincy Jones the father, it's QD3 the son. And working with him was just like working with the dad because, well, I met the dad before, but working with Quincy Jones was like dynamic, man, because we got to really, really sit down and talk, and that's actually what got me into the movies too. Because back in like the early 2000s, he used to always tell me I should start venturing off into movies because I got the music thing down packed. So to work with Quincy Jones was a real honor because I got a jewel, a lot of gifts from him, got more ideas, more knowledge than money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people they'll get a lot of money working with him. Well, it wasn't so much about the money; it was the knowledge and the connections and the education that I got from him that made me able enough to build off of those inspirations and things that he shot at me. You know what I'm saying?
And that's most definitely true. You know, sometimes it's not about the money; it's just the people that you're surrounded with that just teaches you, man. Because the Jones family, they've had many, many, many years in music and have worked with many different genres and movies. So you most definitely learned a
All
lot from
right.
the Jones.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Like I was saying, like with the money thing, like when you get money, it that go quick. You know what I mean? That burn quick. But when you get the knowledge, you can use that knowledge to stretch and make something that's real long term. And that's what I did. It's like he didn't just give me no fish. He showed me the recipe how to make fish and how to spread them all over the world instead of just sharing his with me. He showed me how to get my own.
And when you brought up Atron Gregory and Layla Steinberg, I have to ask you, how did you get connected with those two legendary individuals?
Well, my god brother name is Charles Fuller. He was the manager, the role manager for Tupac to the day he passed away. They used to call him Man Man. That's my god brother, and my other god brother name was DeAndre Proctor. He also was a role manager for Tupac. So that kind of came in play at a young age. I was already out there rapping, and then my manager was already managing Tupac. So by the time I got adjusted to who I was as a rapper, That's how it all came together. So they said, well, since we managed Tupac, and let's manage Freejack. So I was label mates with Tupac, Naughty by Nature, Eazy-E, NWA, JayZ Fad. I mean, I was label mates with the greats, Digital Underground. You know, I was label mates with the greats. So that's how that happened. That came in play. I'm telling you, everything kind of was like served to me when I was young. Grace of God, He blessed me with all those opportunities at a young age. I soaked it all up. That's why I got the knowledge that I have now.
So I have to ask you, what was it like being in the studio with the legendary NWA? Because I heard Eazy-E was a hoot to actually be in the studio with.
Well, by the time I got a chance to work with NWA, I had opportunity to work with Ice Cube and Dr. Dre. By that time, the crew NWA had broke up. By the time you got to remember, I was much younger than you guys, so by the time they was out, I was coming in. But I had a chance to sit there and look in from the outside to watch my guys put all this together and make everything do what it did.
And that is most definitely understandable. You know, unfortunately, if you really look at it, NWA is such a huge group, but in realistic years, they didn't really last a whole of long time.
That's what I said. No, they didn't. They came in. It was like they came in, hit them, and went out. And, you know, that's just a lot of, like I said, I was around when a lot of that shit went down. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna have to be another episode. You feel me?
Most definitely.
That'd be the lost files or something like that. Because I definitely got a documentary coming out called Ghost. Well, I give out a lot of goodies inside of my documentary that a lot of people will be asking questions about, like Dr. Dre smoke weed. I get that a lot. Do you really smoke weed and all kind of crazy shit? So all these questions you want to know about the industry is definitely gonna be in my documentary called Ghost.
And also, as we already know, you had the opportunity to work with Tupac and Digital Underground. But during your time at TNT Records, you were actually able to actually collab with DU and Tupac. I have to ask you, what was that studio session like? Being able to collaborate with one of West Coast's biggest hip hop groups, and one of the biggest East Coast rappers of all time.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. Working with that whole camp. That whole camp was crazy to me, man, because I had a chance to watch Pac develop from who he was into who he became. Like in the middle of his growth, that's when he kind of ventured off to another section of his career. But the time I was there working with Digital and everybody like that, man, it was real dope, man, because like I said, I got a lot of knowledge. You gotta remember, I was younger than a lot of these guys. Me and Pac was the only one the same age. He was born in '71. I was born in '71. But me and Pac's relationship wasn't so much in the studio. It was more in the streets. I seen him more in the streets from the hood where I'm from. I'm from Central Richmond, so my brothers was from that area. Actually, they was from all over Richmond. So they used to have Tupac all through Richmond, all through Oakland. So I'm more me and his relationship is more like a street relationship, because when he was working on his record, I wasn't really doing music. I was in the streets, going back and forth to Kill, and he was working on his album. So like by the time I got out, which was 1997. It was already over. He had already passed and things like that. So I didn't really get a chance to really tap in with him inside the studio like I needed to, except for what me and QD3 did to Tupac Doug Angel, and we did a lot of music for that. So that's how that went, man.
But even after his timely passing, you actually had the opportunity to work on some of his posthumous work with Tupac's Thug Angel and Resurrection soundtracks. I have to ask you, what was it like working on those soundtracks without Tupac there? And of course, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but Afeni Shakur was one of the executive producers for either one of those?
Yeah, she was executive producer for the Resurrection.
What was it like actually just being around Tupac's mother? Like, you know what I mean? Like, was she actually like a good executive producer, or was she really like strict on certain things?
Man, no, she was like a regular mother would be with her son. She was a protector. She protected her son's well-being, made sure nobody got caught up. That was, let me tell you, that's a beautiful woman, because rest in peace, like I think it was, I would say like a week before she passed away, we did a big concert in Richmond, California, where she came to the concert and supported us and was part of our promotions and our production. That was like a week before she passed, and we spent probably like an hour together or something like that, because I got a cousin named Yanni that's real close to Tupac. She used to rap with Tupac. She used to write music with Pac and all types. Her name is Yanni. You can look her up. You probably heard of her already. It was Yanni, Mac Mall, Ray Love. They all used to be together all at one time. So that's how I met her mother through. I met Pac mother through Yanni, and when she showed up in Richmond, it was beautiful, man, because we had a chance to talk, and she thanked me for the soundtrack that we did for Pac on the Thug Angel, and I wrote a poem inside the Thug Angel book, like it's a limited edition Tupac Thug Angel book that you buy, and I did a poem inside the book. So being around Tupac mom once again was a lot of knowledge, because everything she talked about was knowledge. She's trying to teach persons how to shine without having somebody light your candle for you all the time. You should be able to know how to shine without somebody trying to light your candle, or something that you know how to do on your own, because if those people not around when shit hit the fan, how are you gonna keep your flame lit if you don't know how to keep it lit? So she teach you a lot of stuff, man. So it's an honor, man. It was an honor to work with all these greats that I worked with, from Puffy to everybody, man. My list is so big. Like I said, we don't have enough time to speak about it, but my list is so big, and it's just an honor to work with the whole Tupac family. And I still got the whole Tupac family still manage and promote me right now. Adrian Gregory is still with me. Layla Steinberg is still with me. QD3 is still with me. So it's still here. We still keeping the Thug Angel team together, man. You feel me? So ain't nothing lost. We still here.
And I have to say, I got the Thug Angel on DVD. Oh, sorry about that, Freejack. I just
said salute to the whole Tupac family. You know what I'm saying?
I was just gonna say, like, I still have the Thug Angel DVD. You know what I mean? I have to say, probably one of the best Tupac documentaries I've ever seen, because it kind of takes you away from all the positive stuff. You see positive, you see negative, you actually see, you know, everything in that documentary. So I gotta say, salute to all the individuals, including yourself, for putting together that fine documentary.
Hey, it's a trip when we put that documentary, because I was told to submit like 6 songs. So I spent like 5 songs, and then like 2 out of the 5 was the ones that I produced myself. And I was like, I just threw them in there. I'm like, nah, they're not gonna pick those. Quincy Jones, he ain't gonna pick those. He gonna pick the songs that were produced by the major producers. And guess what? They produced both tracks produced by me.
And that's what's up. You know, he probably listened to the quality of the songs as well. I was saying he probably listened to the quality of the songs and probably liked what he heard.
Yeah, probably so, because back then I was still learning. I had learned so much at an early age. I think I was like 25 when we did that Tupac Thug Angel. I think it was 1999, if I'm not mistaken, when we did it, and we sold over 3 million copies. I got the platinum plaque, but I also got a plaque from the Masterpiece Valley movie. A lot of people didn't know that we did music for that too. I was doing a lot of stuff. I was doing a lot of writing. In fact, before I was putting out records, I was writing for a lot of people.
And as we already know, you were one of the main producers for Dr. Dre and Aftermath Records. I have to ask you, how did that come to be for you, and how did you get signed to Aftermath Records and working under Dr. Dre?
Well, this is crazy. The call came through. I was developing. I don't know if you remember the group called Making a Band with Puffy. Before they became Making a Band, it was just Fred P. And a couple other guys that was in the clique. So at that time I was working on them and perfecting their craft. And I got a call from a guy named Sky Baller from Frisco, California. A young dude that I used to work with through my brother Fast One. There's a guy out of Frisco. I don't know if you heard of him. He was real big back in the day. His name was the Fast One out of San Francisco, California.
I heard of him.
Anyway, he had introduced me to this young dude. Yeah, well, he introduced me to this young dude years ago, like in the early, like, 89 or something. But so the guy, Scott Baller, called me up and was like, Freejack, you interested in writing? You still writing? I'm like, yeah, I'm still writing. He said, well, check this out. I got a gig, but I can't do it. So do you think you can take up on do it? I said, what gig is that? He said, I got to go write for Dre, but I know you can pull it off. So I'm thinking, like, Dr. Dre? He's like, yeah, Dr. Dre, we're going to get you a plane ticket and we're going to fly you out there. I said, okay, just let me know when. He said, right now. So that next day, I got a call from a guy named Gerard Bible and Mike Lynn, which was the A&R of Aftermath, and Chuck Stanton was the A&R of Interscope and Aftermath. So they flew me out there. That next day, Dr. Dre walked in and said, hey, Freeman, Freejack, right? I said, yeah. He said, I heard your pen was hot. I said, yeah, my pen is hot. He said, okay, let's get to work. And it was me, a guy named Mike Lynn, Mike D was producing. It was Scott Storch in there with us. There was a guy named Focus was up in there with us. So we was all in there producing the Dr. Dre Detox album. And that's how that happened. I got hooked. Thanks to you, Scott Baller. Thanks to Scott Baller. Follow Scott Baller. You know what I'm saying? That's a young dude that just hooked out of nowhere. When he hooked me up, I ain't heard from him since. He just hooked me up, and I see him moving, I see him making plays, but I ain't talked to him since. So if you listen, Scott, I thank you for the opportunity with Aftermath, because that really boosted my career. One love. So that's how that went, man.
And I gotta ask one thing about the Detox record, because I always thought the Detox record didn't get released. Like, did you guys release it under a different name, or what actually happened to that Detox record? Because I knew it was in talks for like years.
Well, I really can't say too much about it, but just know that a lot of people in the circle was like leaking it. So once with Dr. Dre, the way it worked with him is once you leak something, it's over with. So it got leaked. It's scattered all over the internet right now. You know what I mean? I got like 5 songs. You know, people, Dr. Dre's such a solid dude, and when you take from him or do some weird stuff, he kind of shut it down, man. So the Detox didn't come out because a lot of people was leaking it, man. Somebody was leaking it.
I gotta say, me personally, as a fan, I was looking forward to that Detox record, but it just felt like it was years and years of it. You know what I mean? So then when the Compton soundtrack came up, or Straight Outta Compton, always thought that was kind of like his Detox. But then I listened to it, and Dr. Dre wasn't really in that record.
No, exactly. That was nowhere near. The Detox was. I'm telling you, if they would have dropped the Detox was like a chronic on steroids, literally. They had the best producers in there. Look, they had Scott Storch. They had a guy named Mike D from Oakland, California. They had Focus, which is one of the dopest producers in Aftermath. Then they had me writing. They had another guy from, I think it was D12 writing. They had another guy named Frog was writing. So it was like a bunch of writers. And at the end of the day, I think it was just me. I was the last writer in there that when they shut down the Detox, because like I said, a lot of politics was going on, so they shut the whole project down. But I still got a relationship with Dr. Dre. I still got a relationship with Warren G. A lot of people say, "Oh, why you not over there working with Dr. Dre?" Because Dre don't work like that. It's not about that. He'll let when he wants personal other situations. He just don't work like that. But you can definitely call him. I could definitely call him and get knowledge. I can call Warren G and get knowledge, but that's just the type of person I am. I never wanted to use another artist to make my career. If you check out all the stuff that I did in history, all my records I put out, all the records I did sell, I never used other artists to get on, because I feel like if I can't get myself on, it's not meant for me to get on. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, most definitely. Sometimes just doing things yourself is the best route to go, because then nobody can ever take that away from you.
Right.
And before we move off the Dr. Dre topic, this is one thing I just always wanted to ask. What was one of your favorite memories actually, working for Dr. Dre and Aftermath?
One of my favorite memories working with Dr. Dre and Aftermath was a night when Dr. Dre had to go. I think it was Christmas time, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Christmas, and he asked me, did I want to come over for Christmas with him and his family? And I said, yeah, no problem. He said, okay, I'll get you a car. But that night, Scott Storch was in the studio by himself, and he said, well, you can stay here with Scott. So me and Scott sat in there all night. That man, Scott Storch, gave me so many drum kits. He gave me so much knowledge. He offered to take pictures. A lot of it, like Dr. Dre and them, they don't like taking pictures. Like even with Jamie Foxx, when I was chilling with Jamie Foxx, like they really don't like taking pictures unless they want to take the picture. So, but Scott Storch that night, Scott Storch gave me Christmas with Dr. Dre and stayed behind with Scott Storch. Him and Focus gave me so much knowledge that night. I think they gave me over 10 years of knowledge in one night. That's the best night I had. Listen, Dr. Dre passed out that next morning, that morning before, because I got a brother named Salvador Garcia who bought some California Bay Area weed, and they all said that LA weed was better than the Bay weed, and my brother smoked him, Warren G, Busta Rhymes, Mary J. I think we all was in the studio that night. Everybody passed out except for my brother. And Dr. Dre, he said, well, you can stay here with Scott. So me and Scott sat in there all night. That man, Scott Storch, gave me so much knowledge that night. I think they gave me over 10 years of knowledge in one night. That's the best night I had. It listen, Dr. Dre passed out
That's crazy. You know what I mean? Well, you know what? I guess they learned that day that the Bay Area weed was the good weed.
Yeah, that day they learned. That day they found out that it was the best weed, because that weed put everybody out. I remember that night we was working on a record. We was working on a song called "Get Your Money Right," and it was supposed to be Dr. Dre and Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes got so loaded he couldn't finish writing his rap, so ended up putting JayZ in the game on that song.
They should have just puffed it slowly. You know what I mean? That Bay Area weed. I heard some horror stories about that, man.
And this was in the early 2000s when Purple just came out, and they didn't, and LA didn't really know too much about purple weed. So when he pulled that purple weed out and smoked it with him, they seen what it was then.
Yeah, that stuff right there will most definitely make you cross your eyes.
Yeah, right.
And also, one of my personal favorite records of yours actually is called, VSOP, Very Smooth on Paper. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration and story behind that iconic record of yours?
Well, the inspiration behind that record is an old guitar player named Johnny Guitar Watson. You remember him?
I remember him, yep.
Okay, if you listen to Johnny Guitar Watson, you listen to my album, you'll see that we got similar sounds. I got a lot of live instruments in my album, so, and Johnny Guitar Watson happens to be one of my favorite. So I said I want to sing like him, so I just kind of mimicked his sound but updated it. So my whole inspiration behind that VSOP was it's very smooth on paper. That came straight from Johnny Guitar Watson influenced that album, man. Like, and my first daughter named Brittany, because she was real special. That's a special girl. So that was my first daughter. So she's one of the I got a song on there called My Only Child. So she kind of gave me inspiration for a couple of them songs. But the overall inspiration was Johnny Guitar Watson, man. Richmond, California, my city. That's my city's. My whole city, Richmond, California, love Johnny Guitar Watson. You can't even say you're from Richmond if you don't know nothing about Johnny Guitar Watson. So, salute to my city, salute to Johnny. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my godfather, Agent Gregory, because he owned the archives of Johnny Guitar Watson. So we can sample him anytime without getting sued. You know what I mean?
And also, aside from your hip-hop side of things, I also noticed while doing my research for this interview that you were also the producer for Damian Marley, the son of reggae legend Bob Marley. I have to ask you, what was it like working with the son of Bob Marley, and how did you guys get connected?
Now that's crazy. Now that story right there crazy. I was in Miami working with a company called Royce Records, who had signed my other company called Showcase Records with Universal Records. So I was actually in Miami working on a song, and this female came in there and said that she was the girlfriend of him at that time. And I didn't too much believe it, but when I found out she was the girlfriend of him, she ended up bringing him by, and I ended up playing some music for him. And I mean, instantly, that next day, we was in the studio working on a song. I'm going to have to get that song for you, too. That was a real brilliant song that we did, man. And, he's a good dude, man. He's real down to earth. It's not about money with him, you know what I'm saying? If he like it, he'll do it. If he don't, he won't. If he don't like it, he's probably going to charge you. But if he like it, it's not even about money, because we did a whole song together. It wasn't even about no money. We just felt it. We were smoking. You feel me? We was out there peaceful, and that's how that went, man. It was like crazy working with him, because he looked just like his dad. He sounded just like his dad. He talked just like his dad. So it felt like he was walking in the presence with Bob Marley. You had to kind of catch yourself like, okay, hold on. This is son. But, same spirit, the same bloodline, so it felt the same way, man. So yeah, it was dope working with him, man, for real. It was real dope.
Like, since they look so much alike, did you mess up a couple times and call them Bob, or like, do you know what I mean?
No, I ain't never called him Bob, but I called him Marley. I was like, what's up, Marley? Young Marley? That's what I always call him, Young Marley. He used to call me Cali boy. Called me all the time. Cali boy. I used to call him Young Marley. I'm telling you, we had built a little good relationship at one time, man. When I was out there in Miami, we had a real good thing. Me, him. I think I met him through Skywalker people too. At one time, I ran into him when I was working with Luke Skywalker. That's when I got to him. The second one, the girl was kind of easy industry because they can blackball you and you'll never be able to sell a record in your life. So try to stay humble out there. Try to stay humble. Keep your mind focused. Don't let your emotions mess you up, because if you let your emotions get in front of you, you might say the wrong thing and it can cost you. So just stay humble. Listen to everything that you hear. Listen and watch everything and walk a straight line, man, and be successful.
And also, you are a DJ on Kush Radio out of Las Vegas. I have to ask you, what made you decide to get into radio? And of course, where can our listeners tune in to hear Mr. Freejack?
Man, listen, I used to DJ 1988. I DJ'd at the biggest and the only club in Crescent City. It was called Missing Places. Right now, you can probably Google Missing Places in Crescent City, and it'll tell you the history about this club. I was traveling, and I ended up ended up in Crescent City, California, man. And that's not crazy. Crescent City, this girl was in this club DJing, and she really didn't know what she was doing. So I was only like 14 years old. I stepped up on there and went up there and DJ'd, and the owner hired me. He said, "But you can't tell them how old you are. You can't drink." Okay, cool. And anybody that's listening from Eureka, California, Humboldt, California, they tell you I DJ'd at that club for 2 years straight. So I was off DJing at a young age. So when I went to Miami, when I went to Vegas in 2000 and I think it was 15. A camera and a guy named Jerry DJ. Why not? Because look at it like this: if you do music, get radio play. Okay? DJ at once, where he can make the music and he can put it all over the world. So why not? I felt like that was a perfect opportunity. I've been doing it for 2 years straight, and it's beautiful. We got over 500,000 listeners at some times. So it's definitely a good platform. It's definitely a good position. So that's what made me DJ at that station, because I DJ'd before, and it's like easy, like riding a bike.
And also, on August 24th, as we talked about at the beginning of the interview, you will be dropping your new project called Death. I have to ask you, can you tell our listeners what can they expect from this record when it does get released in, next month?
So basically, what they only got a lot of. I say about 2 months ago, and I went through real bad depression. And I was damn near thinking suicide. I couldn't figure out what was wrong, and I just couldn't figure out what was going on with me. So the whole I was writing this record, I was writing a lot of my pain. So listeners and fans, they need to expect they're gonna hear a lot of me, like a lot of me, a lot of my family history, where I'm from, you know, who brought me up in the industry. I got one song that's everybody who brought me up in this industry. Because a lot of people that I was raised by, like Tonka Palm, Tonka Palm, these producers out the Bay Area, Tonka Palm, a lot of Tonka Palm, you feel me? The Temptations, like a lot of knowledge and a lot of love from many artists. Christina Aguilera, that was one of the first major artists I worked with in Miami years ago. So it's just a lot of people that gave me a lot of game and a lot of knowledge, and this album is going to show the hip hop and the versatility that I learned off of all these, you know what I'm saying? So expect the next album, which is called Red October. That album is going to blow your mind.
And also, you have a movie coming out as well called Baylaws. I have to ask you, when is the estimated release date for that? And of course, what can our listeners expect from this movie release?
Okay, well, the Baylaws has supposed to have been out like a while ago, but the reason technology, the computer is like crashed. My computer did some crash and shit, so I had to, re-edit the movie. So once we re-edited the movie, it was supposed to drop last month, but it didn't drop last month due to the corona around the world, and we're gonna show the movie, and all the artists on the movie will be performing the songs that's on the soundtrack. So a lot of that was held back due to the coronavirus. We got a lot of deposits back when we couldn't premiere the dropped in November. I was told by a couple of friends of mine like Glenn Plummer, Omar Gooding, Ryan Cougar, a lot of my movie friends told me, take your time, don't rush on your movie. This is your baby. You paid your money on this movie. Take your time on it. Drop it when you feel like it's ready. Because if you drop it for everybody else and it's not ready, it's going to flop. So that's another reason why the movie hasn't came out. I've been particular in making sure everything is the way it's supposed to be. So when I drop it, it'll make sense. So don't lose your patience. Be ready for me. Salute to Ado Clothing for hooking it up. Salute to Ra. Salute to Sunshine Macklemore, everybody, my whole team, Mike, my man Jeff, my man Day Day, all my peoples who helped me put this Baylaws together. I love y'all. Thanks for having y'all patience. It's coming. Trust me. Baylaws is coming, and it's going to be worth your wait.
And I gotta ask you, Freejack, what's next for you? Other than your record that's coming out August 24th, Baylaws in November, is there anything else you want to promote? Will we still have you here live on the radio station?
Yeah, well, we got an artist named Raz P coming out. He's a R&B, a real R&B artist. He's gonna bring back the D'Angelos. He's gonna bring back the Krishan. Remember watching my life go down. He's gonna bring back the real R&B. His name is Raz P. And we got EA Skits that's coming out. That's my son. We got him coming out. But what's next for Freejack is after the Baylaws, we're going to drop one more album. Now I'm going to drop my last album called Red October, and then I'm retiring from music, and I'm going to focus 100% on movies because I got another movie that I wrote called Smoke, and that's going to be the next movie that we're going to start filming in December. So that's what's next for me, movies. After the last album that I'm going to drop, I'm going to do nothing but movies, and my son going to take over the music side of it. That's what's next. So get ready for it. Got a surprise for y'all.
And so, Freejack, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to. And if you can, drop them social media handles as well. That way our listeners can follow you, your music, and your movies if they're not already doing so.
Yeah, okay. Well, y'all can, shout out to my whole team. Like I said, the whole R Label E team. Special shout out to my manager, Sunshine Macklemore. If it weren't for her, none of this shit would be popping. She made everything happen. And then salute to my manager, Big Rob, who stepped in with her, who made the whole thing come together. And salute to my son, EA Skits, for motivating me. And salute to you for putting me on the station. Salute to Hot Rush Radio. Salute to everybody out there who supported me, man. And you want to go check out my IG. It's Freejack_music. Go look at my website. Freejack Official Music at freejackofficialmusic.com. That's go check out my website. You know what I'm saying? And you can also just Google me, man, Mr. Freejack, man, legendary Mr. Freejack, man. And it's going down. I just appreciate everybody out there. I got a lot going on. I had a lot of deaths in my family. Lost my pops a couple of weeks ago, so I'm just getting it together. But like I said, I got a lot coming your way. And like I said, everybody stay focused. Keep your eyes on the prize. Mr. Freejack ain't went nowhere. I'm back like I never left. Niggas want to talk crack like I never chef. But just get ready for it, man. Once again, salute to my whole team. Much love.
I gotta say, Freejack, again, thank you so much for coming on the radio station. I've been a huge fan of your work for many, many years. I grew up on your work with Tupac, Aftermath Records, so thank you for taking 34 minutes out of your evening just to come on my radio station, just to acknowledge what I do, man. It's an honor, and thank you so much.
Man, blessings, man. Anytime, man. Like I said, if you want that exclusive Freejack interview, you got to come sit down with me face to face, and I give you an exclusive interview. It's a lot about me that the world needs to know, man. I've been through a lot. My adventure through this music industry is real big, and like I said, get ready for the Ghost documentary coming out. That's coming out on Halloween, my Ghost documentary. And like I said, it's a tell-it-all. So everything y'all want to know about how my life was at Aftermath, how my life was at Bad Boys, how my life was at TNT Records, how they didn't give me money, how they did give me money, tune in to Ghost in October, man. It's going down.
Hey, most definitely. It sounds like an amazing project. October should come quicker, you know what I mean? Because it sounds like one hell of an amazing project for the world to hear.
2 projects drop in October. Red October album drop in October, and the DVD documentary Ghost. So I'm going to hit y'all. Y'all got 2 in 1 coming, so get ready.
Most definitely. Thank you so much, Freejack, and again, thank you, and have yourself a wonderful night, man, and try and stay safe out there during this terrible pandemic.
Off top, man. Appreciate you, man. God bless. Peace.
God bless, brother. Peace.